Test, test. Hey, cool. All right. Howdy, folks. I'm Dave. I'm a wood turner. I started this channel to become a better demonstrator and a better teacher. I really like working with other turners. As I work with other turners from beginner to advanced, those things that I teach I don't know, in a lot of ways transfer from what was transferred to me to them, I guess. The more it cements it in my own head, and I'm always exploring tons of facets. I'm just really interested in wood turning, so I'm always looking for better tool handling skills. I'm always trying to improve myself, and the secret sauce of that is practice. That's really all there is to it. So I've got well, I should, I guess, begin by saying last week I talked about turning a bowl with a skew. So I've got a piece of timber here that I'm going to go ahead and shoot for. I really don't know. I do know that it was green, mostly. We got some cracks and splits in there. Here, let's just dog this down here. So I got a split going there and two splits going there. It was right on the pith. But hopefully those won't be too much of an issue. What I did find, and this is, like I said, this is a green piece of wood, and I was just taking the bark off. I was pulling out little larvae. So there's a beetle larva right there. I don't know exactly what species of timber this is. Whoops, because I mean, it looks like maple, but it didn't have the maple bark, and yeah, I'm not sure. It could be black locust. I could grab. You know what? Let me grab my black light. Let's take a look. That would be one way of identifying it. I'm not really sure what this timber. It could be pop. Well, no, I don't think it's popple because it had. I don't believe poplar gets the boring grubs, and these were right up under in the cambium layer. I like playing with our cadmium, Cambrian. I don't know. So I've got. Let's see. Does that thing work? Yes. Okay, so it's fluorescing a little bit. I'm gonna guess it's black locust. It's one of the few woods that I know that fluoresce. This may not be black locust. This might be. I don't know. We're gonna go with it. So anyway, I'm not sure that you can actually see this. Let's bring this up. You know what? Let's swap the cameras. Let's turn on number 2 as well. You can see all these little speckles in there, and that is my guess. Is the end of the tubules that run up the tree. So this wasn't cut exactly straight, but that part of the tree wasn't exactly straight either. But you can see some fluorescence in the timber itself. So I was hoping there would be. I got a piece of black locust that was just. It's on my Instagram too, in fact. A piece that I turned and carved, and it really fluoresces nicely. And the one before that, another box I did, it fluoresced, but not quite as strongly. It was more like this particular piece of timber that we got in front of us. So, put my light away, and while I'm at it, I'm going to grab my skews from inside because I wanted room temperature handles to start with. Even though they are wood handles, but Yeah, we'll play it on the safe side there. All right, so Orange Dan 76. When is nature completely straight? Right. I want black locust so I can make UV reactive things. That's kind of where I'm headed. I'm starting to look into what other timbers fluoresce so I can get some of those too and combine them and see. I think that would be really really cool to have. You look at one object in visible light, and then look at it again in UV, and it looks, especially the last one I posted on my Instagram, looks very very different. It's pretty cool. I hope that you have some heat in your shop. It's way too cold for that stuff. Yeah, not much, man. It's like 4 degrees, I guess. But hey, at least the wind isn't blowing in here. And we just got, man, I don't know, like 8 inches of snow or something like that over 2 days. So it was awesome. So I blew it already. I was going to do a quick poll here and say, hey, guess what I'm going to do next? But what would I normally do next from here? But I would put it between centers and put it on its balance point, or find its balance point before I start. And I think what I'm going to need to do here is to take this point out a little bit more. It tends to drift a little bit over time because it's just an Allen screw holding it in, holding in the 3/8 inch pin. And it doesn't matter. Well, that's not long enough, I don't think. Oh, maybe it is. Yeah. I think that'll do. Orange Dan says, my area says it's 10 degrees, feels like 1. Oh, man. Yeah, that's colder than it is here. It says, I think it said it was 15, feels like 3. All right, so we're going for the balance point here to start off. Still a little bit heavy down there. Just need to go a little bit, I think. It looks like that's it. There we go. So the first thing I want, oh yeah, that's pretty much clear, I think. Let's get this guy set up. I'm going to use my longer tool rest to start with. I may have to adjust it down. I might have it a little high here, but I want to start rounding it out. And there's a couple ways I could do this, but let's talk about this first. I'm making an attempt at turning a bowl with just skews. So I'm not telling people they should emulate me. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, you're ultimately responsible for your own safety. But this is something that can be done. The main reason that people don't use skews to turn bowls is that it is highly inefficient. It's very, very inefficient. So we're going to start this dude off. And there's a couple ways I can do this. I could ultimately on the inside, I will wind up using a radius skew as a scraper in the very bottom of the bowl. Well, yeah, I mean, inside the whole bowl, because really that's the only way you can get a round bottom bowl with a skew. So let's see what we got here. Let's throw a little more light on the subject, shall we? There we go. I need to change my angle here. That got a little. I thought everything was clearing. What's tapping? What do we got? It's tapping right there on that corner. So we'll just take that off. I'm gonna put my man, my skew just rolled off into the shavings on the other side here. There it is. Try not to keep too many shavings in the shop, but I do like to have some shavings behind the lathe or things that drop down. Let's see, I don't think. Yeah, okay. So as I'm going with the skew, as you would with a bowl gouge, I'm going in the direction that I'm getting support from the grain. Of course, there's still more than one way to do this as well. I could just go straight in this way. Make kind of a stair step. This is not an efficient way to turn a bowl. I think I need to lower my tool rest just a bit, maybe. And at the very bottom, I do need to go straight in, at least until I get this curve established. And oddly enough, this does tend to take the sharpness of your skew down pretty quick. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead take that down a little bit more. Let's see, I think I need to work on this a little bit. And kind of half-assed establish a foot. Now I can get all the way around. Now that I got that thin enough, I'm hoping to get rid of these splits. I hope they kind of drop off and disappear. See, I think we'll dress up that edge a little bit. Okay, those two splits are still in, and so is that one. So this may go all the way through. This is kind of a little bit punky right there, so this may not be the best piece to turn regardless of what tool I'm using. Let's see, Orange Dan is, for me, the skew is the mistake maker unless I use it as a scraper. Yeah. I'm sorry, well, that's an explosion waiting to happen. I'm not sure what you meant there, Dan. I forgot what the heck. Let's see. Nope, that's not going to do it. Alright, we got that side. I may have to set up my grinder. I didn't think that it would be this rough on my skew. Just not quite sharp enough there. Okay, I could get a stand to be a little bit closer as well. Let's see, check. You know, a skew does make a fine scraper. So we're probably going to wind up with a pretty small bowl. I'm not sure what I'll be able to do with that side yet. For me, the skew definitely used to be the mistake maker. I'm not going to say I'm immune. They just happen less frequently. All right, let's see how we're getting along here. Okay, I can drop my tool rest a bit. I needed to start really high because the wings are up here so high. And I needed to get my tool up into a plane that would let me make safer cuts. And I see that my handle's on the wrong side. There we go. In any case, I thought this would be a good skew exercise. Now I'm going to switch to my shorter tool rest. I like this tool rest. This is a nice tool rest. Steve Center tool rest. I'm not sponsored by anybody at this point. So just mentioning the tools that I actually use. And this center tool rest is really nice. Let's see. I think I can go a little bit smaller there. And envision my chuck. We'll go ahead and do that. And we'll slowly get to the shape. Yeah, because that side was so low. Definitely have to. So there's a split right there. This bowl, it probably is not going to survive the drying process, but that's okay. You know, let me grab a pencil. I don't know. Maybe this could just be a very, very shallow bowl. Let me draw a line here and see if that gets rid of all the splits. You know, actually, I could take that up to here. I think, yeah, something like that. We'll get rid of that split, those splits, and that split. So it'll just be a smaller bowl. So, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to do that just to make sure I'm not trying to carve into those dudes. So obviously I can't get my tool right into where the foot's at, and I have to use this as a scraper. I don't want to go against the grain because then I'm lifting up all that grain and making a frayed surface. So I gotta tilt my handle up so that the skew itself is, well, I mean, it's already got a negative rake on it, but I'm just creating even more of a negative rake by tilting it way over. Okay, so the split actually goes to right about there. So I have to turn all of that away. But I'll do that when I've got it turned around in the chuck. Okay, I can drop this down a little bit more. Let's refresh that edge. Actually, I don't want to take it down a little bit more yet. This is what I tend to do when I don't have, I mean, my grinder's right over there. I could just go right over there and touch this edge up, but I've kind of gotten into the habit of honing as I go with my skew. Because I've done some demonstrations in places that a grinder wasn't available. And, you know, that happens. You work with what you got, and that's why I carry these diamond cards with me when I go out and about. Okay. So do I like the shape? Yeah, it's getting there. Just about there. Now I got a good edge. Yeah, I can handle that. All right. So let's see, I got a little bit of a bump right there. Let's see what kind of surface I can leave myself. Got just a little bit of tear out, but I think I can address it here. Love getting these angel hairs. Very, very, very light touch. All right, that's not bad. The rest of that will sand out really quick. Although, let's see. Now that I look at this foot, I may have to redo this. Let me take this down and see what my flat spot will look like on the bottom here. Let's get the narrow dude in there. Let's see, I'm going to take it down even more. All right, so I'm going to have, well, actually, maybe not. It doesn't have to have, we can make it a round bottom bowl, although I won't be able to hold on to it. Although I can actually still put that in the chuck, I think. Let's see. You know, I think it would just be a good idea to make this tenon a little bit taller. See what that leaves me all the way around. That's more, I think, tenable as a foot. Get my half-inch skew in there. This was a frozen piece, well, it still is, a frozen piece of wood. Yeah, I think that'll be a nice foot right there. Yeah, I think so. Maybe just a little bit more. About 1/8 of an inch there. Too close. Got to work this little hump out of here. So I probably, actually I know I'm not talking as much as I normally do. But that's because working with the skew on a bowl takes a lot more concentration. Let's clean that up. Yep, I need a light overhead as well. Sorry if this washes things out. Oh, duh. I turned all those off. Maybe that would help just having that light. Let's see. There we go. Gotta mess with my light here for a second, apparently. Oh, the ceramic has started to unscrew. There we go. Alright, ta-da! Alright. So grab out the diamond card. I think I'm getting used to the temperature a little bit. I might be able to take these gloves off, I hope. Try not to have anything that might get pulled in. So at the very least, if you're going to wear gloves, make them fingerless. Whoops. All right. Well, drop that now. Let's see. Let's grab that guy. It's interesting how sometimes my magnet just doesn't stick very well. Although it is cold out here. I don't think it's cold enough to stop the magnet from working. So I'm just refining the bottom shape here. That should give me a pretty nice surface. Oh, is that beetle galleries? Nope, that's just discolored wood. All right. Okay, so I'm going to say that's a nice bowl shape. We're going to go with that. I think. Well, no, let's do this. I gotta take all this stuff off anyway. So doing this will make it easier to run my sander across this outer surface. So you have to remember this is not in spindle orientation. That's a cool shape for a bowl though. Actually, golly, I wish that stuff, it is kind of punky right there, which is probably why it was splitting even though it was frozen. But we're getting rid of all that. I have to keep that bowl shape in mind. Actually, I'm going to take a picture of it. Let's do that. Just the shape. There we go. All right, so I'm going to grab my Grex sander over here and some 220 grit. You know what? Let's move this guy to the other side. And take that out. Yeah, man, that's pretty nice. All right, I gotta know. Oh, that's just the discoloration of the wood. I thought I was chasing a bump, but it's this discoloration as it spins around. It's making a line. Yeah, that's a nice surface there. We can leave that alone now. That is slightly beveled, so that'll work. So we can take this guy out here. Well, let's see. Before we do that, oh, no, Dave, no. I was just going to take my skew and pop into this nub, but this makes more sense. Okay. Just pop out the live center and then the drive center. And bring up this dude. Davik Markachuk. Okay. You know what? I am going to lose these gloves. Get in there. All right, so lots of work to do since I've got to get rid of that, man, good 3/4 inch of material. So I think what I will do is I'll go with my 1/2 inch skew because I'm not so concerned about having to sharpen it multiple times. So as much as I would really like it to be otherwise, you can't pretty much have to use a skew as a scraper inside of a bowl. Cutting angles and all that are all different, but that's why, I mean, basically the skew is just it's a scraper, but it's ground in a specific way to be able to use it as a knife. And that's essentially what it is a knife. Yeah, look at that stuff just crumble away. It's essentially a knife edge. All right, let's take a look and see where we see those splits. All right, so that one, that was, what is that? Maybe that's a bark inclusion. So I think I'm going to stop right there and keep that, at least up here. And now I'm going to work on getting my bowl depth. And I can't just go in. I mean, I can make cuts this way, but you can see it starts flowering and lifting up the timber. So I got to work my way in this way. Not like a bowl gouge. Again, this is why people don't use skews to turn bowls unless they're in dire straits or whatever. I mean, if it's the only tool you got, it is a very versatile tool. A lot of people think a skew is a one-trick pony, and it's not. All right, now I think start making my shape here that my radius skew is going to complete. Keep in mind my wall thickness has to remain even into the bottom. So I'm pretty close where I need to be there. So the grain is running perpendicular to the bed this way as opposed to this way in spindle orientation. So I want to round that edge off. I got to go with grain support, just like that. So I'm going down into the grain and it's supporting that cut, so it's a clean cut. And now we're going to start with the radius skew. And I thought about putting a burr on it just to use it that way, but I think I'll do that when I hone it up. So I can get a lot of the way there and remove a lot of material by doing those slicing cuts and peeling cuts. I'm limited only by the curve of my skew. As to what my shape can be. And I'm not going to make this a super thin bowl either, because I have to apply pressure. I can go a little deeper there. I do have to apply pressure. And now it's time to consider putting a burr on it. And to do that with a skew, all you got to do is basically hone one side. And that will curl up. I could also use a steel, which I may actually do. So that's giving me not much of a burr there. Let me strike it. Where are you? I know you're out here. At least I thought you were. Well, if I can't find you, this will do. So it's just any kind of good hard metal. Could use a screwdriver. I could use a steel to raise that burr, but you can see the light on it in the right way. You can see that little burr that's raised up there. And you see these, well, let's grab some more shavings. So these shavings are very, very fine. Just giving it light pressure because I only want to contact the burr. Those super fine shavings. Now I can round that edge. I think my burr's about toast. That's a really nice surface. The thickness is not quite even. So let's strike this again. Yeah, that's a decent burr. I could stand to raise my tool rest just a bit. There we go. So I'm gonna raise that burr one more time and just do the final turning of that inside, because that's pretty well done there. Now imagine, let's say it's been an hour, right? And this is just on a small bowl. But it just wouldn't be efficient to turn a lot of bowls this way. I just think it's really cool to be able to explore everything you can do with a tool. And the skew is no slouch. I mean, granted, for what it's designed for, it is an excellent tool, but it can be used in more than just the, I guess, I don't know, the commonly thought. I wouldn't say traditional, because, you know, I just don't know about that. I would think that anyone trying to, you know, way back in the day when this was a craft and a way to earn a living, that you wanted to get the most out of your tools that you could possibly get. So I would think that turners back in the day would also be continuing to improve their skills, and continuing to explore the things that they can do with their tools. There we go. That's nice. So I'm going to put a little bit of abrasive on the rim there. I don't know. Yeah, I can put a little bit on the inside. Doesn't really need much. But it's important that you work with sharp tools, yeah? So let's grab this guy first. Ooh, squeak! There we go. And then I can grab, well, that abrasive is toast. Let's see, what do we got here? That is not 220. So just a paddle sander with a radius backup pad. I think that's how they say it, or how it's said. Let's see, this is 220, yes. But it's about done. That one might work. That one's toast. So just a radius edge to get into the basic bowl shape. let's grab. What do I do with it? Where you did go? Normally I would let this, you see it's filling up the abrasive because it's green. Normally I would wait till it was a little drier, but that is very nice right there. I'm gonna take that, but obviously it's just dry enough to be able to sand it. All right, so I got a couple options here now. I can use a sander and just take care of that, but I am going to, well, I guess it means I'm going to have to swap jaws, but I'm going to instead finish the bottom with the skew. And so we've done the whole thing. Whoops. That's not supposed to come loose like that. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Handle, handle, handle. Wrong drawer, wrong drawer. There we go. I may have to, well, I don't know how I'd do that, to be honest. So just thinking I may have to do a set screw, but instead, yeah, I don't know. That should not have come off like that, I don't think. But let me grab my other jaws. Although, let's see, wait a minute, hold on, thinkity think. Well, no, if I do that, I've got to be able to hold it so I can hit it with the skew on the bottom. So yeah, I can't use a jam chuck. Not without some extra preparation that I don't want to do right now. All right, that clinches it. It's time to lose the gloves. Interesting. I thought, well, no, we're not quite there yet. So I'm an affiliate now with Twitch, which is really, really awesome. I believe, and then I'm fogging up this camera, aren't I? It's cold enough that my breath is just fogging this camera up. So yeah, I made it to affiliate, which means I guess, and I don't know if I'm going to see them here. I've been waiting to see if the, whoops, we were going to lose these, weren't we? Because now you can subscribe to my channel, and if you do subscribe, you won't have to watch any ads. And if I recall, it's $5 a month. And these are prices set by Twitch. I don't set these prices. There's 3 different tiers of subscription. But if you don't mind watching ads, you can always still watch for free. Let's see, one. Oh, that one was already attached, was it not? Why we undid it. Trying to talk, pay attention, blah, blah, blah. So I was expecting a timer to show up to say, to tell me, or it's supposed to, I thought, tell me when the ads will play. And I don't know if that's, Well, this would be about the time that they would go, so maybe it's just on the channel itself as I'm streaming. Although this is OBS, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not seeing the Twitch. That's something that I'll have to I'll have to check that out next time. I'll have my phone going, and I can see, because there's supposed to be some kind of deal about, some kind of notification about, hey, we're going to play ads now. And it doesn't really affect what I'm doing. It doesn't interrupt me, but it gives me a chance to give people a heads up, I suppose, and also hopefully entice more folks into subscribing. Alright, so I'm going to set these jaws aside because I may wind up using them again really soon. Let's grab my tool here, my Allen wrench. Oh, I already had it out. This is a different one. Let's lose this glove. Beautiful. Beautiful. So I'm not going to really crank down on this. I just need enough pressure to hold it in place. I could use any number of things to kind of cushion a little bit, but I'm not really all that concerned. I've seen ads twice already on this side, not obtrusive, TC Smo. Awesome. Hey, thanks for letting me know, man. I appreciate that. I thought I had it set where there were to play once an hour. Alright, so I need to be able to strike my burr again. So it's held in place. It's not. It's not a really tight hold because I'm trying to avoid making any marks on the outside of the bowl. But since they are equidistant, both all the way around the bowl, we can always say, hey, that is a feature. Let's take a look here. I think that's concave. Yes, it is. So I want to put a little bit of detail in here. And then I want to round that out. So again, the fibers are going perpendicular to the ways. They're not in spindle orientation where they'd be pointing along the ways, right? So for me to make those clean cuts, I've got to do it with grain support. And on this bead, I'm going to round off both sides. I've got to go from top down, because the grain underneath this is what's supporting the cut. And then the other direction. Then I'll clean this up a little bit more. And then I'll round this over. Again, I got to go with grain support. It takes a lot more concentration than using a bowl gouge. That is actually a really nice surface. I lost my burr, so I'm going to strike it one more time, and I'm just going to dance across the surface, I guess. Just a really, really light touch. Just want to catch all the high points. You can tell by the size of the shaving, super small, that it's very, very light touch. Just the burr. Next, I'm going to raise this up just a bit. Just want that burr to make contact. Ah, yeah, that's lovely. But hey, we're not done yet. Because since we applied abrasive to the rest, we'll do this real quick. Doesn't take much. And then, since this is done, I'm going to go ahead and do the final touches here. Let's see, eeny, meeny, miny, moe. I can lose this guy for a minute. Excuse me. Put this guy away. There we have it. Let's clean that off again. It's chilly out here. Clearly, I keep fogging this dude up so for some reason. 'Cause my breath is warm. Okay, I need to plug this guy back in for later, since I can find it easily right now. Move that aside. All right, so here we have, and I'm going to turn off so I can see the image myself a little bit better. Let's lose that guy. So, will that help? Yeah, no. How about that? A little bit. All right, so I will just go back to this camera then. So you can see the inside surface. Yes, I did touch it with some abrasive, but clearly there's no tear out. And there really isn't any tear out here. There's a tiny, tiny bit. But I will be able to sand that out once it's, you know what, I'm just doing it now. There is just a tiny, tiny bit. And it's right up here. So I should be able to get that with little issue. Just a little bit more. And let's see, where did it go? Clearly not 60 grit. What would I use 60 grit for? Not this. Come on. And again, I have a very light touch. I mean, I'm just using just like the weight of finger pressure to hold on to this, because if the lathe takes it away from me, I want it to go. I don't want to have a death grip on it and get pulled in. I'd rather this just takes off. And it happens to me often, but I'm okay with it because I'm doing this as safely as I can. And that means trying my best not to put myself in harm's way. Okay, so that torn out grain is gone. Just took a very bit of minor sanding. It was right up in here. But there you go. There you have it. There's a bowl entirely turned by askew. So when people tell you it can't be done, now I have 8 ads in a row, no view of you. What in the world? I'll have to double check that. I will have to probably contact Twitch because... Oh, you know what? Let me do this. Because you guys... let's see. Let me do this. I hope it will let me... I haven't done this before, so... I have not done this before, so we'll see how it works out. But if I... I see. I'll have to look at that later. I'm sorry that that is an issue, but becoming an affiliate, this is my first broadcast as an affiliate. I'm sure there will be things to iron out. The settings that I chose should have made things more unobtrusive and fewer ads. But they have, a multitude of choices. You can have ads run every 15 minutes if you want to, or even less than that, I think. But, that's just too many. But clearly, it sounds like this is also might be too many. So we'll have to iron some things out probably. But that, I guess, is the whole idea behind Twitch, leading people down the path of having subscriptions. Okay, so again, one more time, this is a bowl turned entirely with skew. Highly inefficient. That's why, at least that's my best guess as to why people don't turn bowls with a skew, because it took, a little over an hour to get this. What is this, a 5-inch bowl? So, and again, I'm limited on the inside surface to what my radius skew radius is. But this is, wall thickness is even. It's got an excellent surface all the way around. Very, very minimal sanding, which is my favorite part. And I kept that part of the bark inclusion, and it shows up on this side too, and all the splits are gone. So hopefully, with all this in place, this will survive the drying process. We'll find out. It's going inside. And why did I sign it? I did it again. I haven't apparently got my head around the fact that it's 2025, because I've signed the last couple of pieces 2024, and I keep telling myself, no, Dave, it's 2025. It's 2025. The only reason that matters, really doesn't to me, but the only reason it matters is because when I'm doing shows or contests or whatever, they say it's, usually they say it has to be done within, this these year range dates, or this particular range date. Maybe it has to have been turned this year, stuff like that. Sometimes they go back 2 years. That can happen. But I've got to make sure these are accurate. So get this in my head so that when I have these pieces ready to enter into some jury process that the year is correct. All right, I'm going to set this inside. It's a nice smooth surface, man. I'm liking that. In fact, I think I'll take this. I will take that bowl to the next tournament meeting. And then invite those turners to watch the video. And hopefully get a little bit more support. A couple more people from the club to join, hang out and chat. Okay, I'm going to put these skews away. And then what am I going to do next? That was fun. I expected it to take longer, actually. I really did. So I'm glad that it didn't. And I'm also glad, again, I want to tell people I'm not suggesting that you emulate what I'm doing. I am turning in the safest way I possibly can. But the skew is a less forgiving tool, let's say, than a bowl gouge. So if you don't feel safe doing something like this, don't do that, and don't do it until your skills are at a level that you feel comfortable with. Again, you are responsible for your own safety. I take the safety aspects pretty seriously in what I'm doing, because I want to be able to do this for a long time. I want to be able to do this until, I don't know, I can't get out of bed anymore or whatever. And even then, hopefully I'll have a lathe that I can sit over the bed and turn while I'm laying down or something like that. That would be great. Funny. I doubt anybody would put up with it. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. I had another piece over here of the same stuff. It looks like it was the other half. Whoopsie daisy. The other half of this particular log. So let's drop that down here. Don't need my glasses yet. I want to see how much of this bark will come off. Some of it does come off pretty easy, so we'll take it off now. Otherwise, it's probably just going to fly off from the centrifugal force. And, it doesn't appear... yeah, there's a split on this side. So, this one I'll just turn... well, let's see. What other tool should I use? I could use a negative rake scraper for the whole... Actually, it doesn't really matter. I can use any tool, turn a bowl. Doesn't matter. And with enough practice, you will be able to as well. This is not something special or some unattainable, master class, whatever. I mean, it kind of is master class, or it's very advanced level. Let's put it that way. But it's still very, very doable. When people tell you can't turn a bowl with a skew, that is clearly not correct. It's just way less efficient. It takes a lot longer time. So I want to get rid of some of this bark now that I think about it, and I'm expecting to find some more larvae in here, since this was just on the other side of the tree. Yep, there's one. There's two. And that little white guy and that dude. So there are some larvae in here. Overwintering, as it were. There's another couple. Whoa, look at the size of that dude. Oh, yeah, let's bring this up here. So that was the first one. There's one. There's a bigger one. There's an even bigger one. So they haven't abandoned the log yet. They were overwintering. Pity they must go. Well, okay, it's not a pity, but it's also not like I have. Never mind, I will not complete that thought. All right. Bring this guy up. And then we'll just do, hey, let's see the difference between. Like we needed to do that, I guess. But hey, what the heck? I'm having fun. Let's turn some wood, man. All right, so we're a little heavy down there. I've been looking forward to doing that like all week too, man. It's like I really wanted to jump out here and turn a bowl with a skew. To dispel those vicious and nasty rumors that it can't be done. Well, that looks like it's pretty close to me. Try not to hit the camera when I'm setting my tailstock. Let's make sure this guy is secure. There we go. And I believe I'm going to go the bull gouge route. Let's see, is that the right height? Nope, too tall. There we go. Get to a spot that everything clears. And we're ready to rock. All right. So we need to cover my computer air intake again. And I think that's a good angle. I will ask for more light. Thank you. I'm also way off the tool rest. If you do not feel comfortable doing something like this, don't do it. A little bit more. That'll do. Now, if I can lose those splits, I can make that bowl shape that I thought was cool. So there's a little bit of a pith there, tiny bit of a crack. Don't know what we've got here yet, so let's keep going. All right, so that's punkiness, and that's going to be an issue, especially since this is green. But you know, I'm gonna try it, man. If it goes, it goes. I'll turn it into a natural edge. So that means I gotta tuck this down a little bit. And a little bit more. Let's see, this right here makes it easier for me to see. That's not bad. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, I like this shape. This is a nice shape. Oh, I think. Should have sat. Well, look at it. So it's been like 8 minutes. And I'm like taking my time here. As opposed to the skew, which took a lot longer. All right, so I do need to, you know, I think I'll make that foot even smaller. Or do I want to do that? No, I don't think I do. I think what I will do instead is just make it a lower profile. Gotta go with the grain, downhill to the cut, to the fibers. Okay, that'll work. And then, let's see, how do I want to do this? I think I'll turn this. So there, I just went against the grain, or against the support of the fibers. Get as cleaned up with this. Do a little shear scraping. Again, in the direction that I'm getting support from the fibers. You can be as aggressive or gentle with any of these cuts that you want, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm just using a really light touch because I just want to catch the high points. This is going to change shape as it dries. That looks pretty darn good. And I need to set myself up to have a little bit of a hold here. And so how do I want to do that? Do I want to go expansion? Yeah, I think I do. Only because I don't want to, I like that profile as it is right now. That's too low. Let's see, let's grab this guy. That'll be enough right there. And all that is still fairly evenly concave, yes. Ooh, it got a lot quieter. So that I'll be able to sand down. I should have a really nice hold in there. Oh, let's get rid of this. Goodness. There we go. Sometimes all you need is a bigger mallet. Now I get to change the jaws back. So I need the smaller jaws for this guy. And though it is, well, it's not too late. Yeah, that'll be a pretty good hold. We're just going to make sure, because since I have these larger jaws here I can hold on to, don't go nowhere. The outside of the bowl fairly well, and I just need to make a slight adjustment. Come on. So I'm just going finger tight on this guy. And I'm going to take my 4-degree gouge. Oh yeah, we did not straighten that out, did we? Well, we may have to go with what we've got. But maybe not. Just about there. Finger tight again. There we go. Hey, since I got it there, hey, this works. You're too tall. There'll be no sanding of that. Okay. Now, let's see about changing these jaws. I might have to put some never sees on that. Or not never sees, Loctite. There we go. Okay. Captain OB. Hey, Dave. Hey, how's it going, man? Hey, what? Did your piece make it through the jury process? Mine did not. So I was curious. And if so, congratulations. If not, maybe next time. That's my thought on it. Can't get into every art contest And this was also an auction to raise money for AAW. So kind of bummed they didn't select my piece, but it's all right. I don't know if you're still there. Hopefully you're still there. If I don't get an answer from you today, I'll be asking you next time I see you, probably at the meeting, if you're there. And you just missed the live version anyway. You can always watch the recorded version. Just missed the live version of me turning a bowl entirely with a skew. I don't know, people tell me, oh, you can't do that. It's like, why not? Oh, you can't do this. Well, why not? I got lucky, though, because when I started with the skew, now I watched YouTube videos and I learned some really bad habits that I had to break pretty quickly because it was kind of dangerous. What I have found is that YouTube is mostly, creators looking for views to get paid and all, that kind of stuff. And so they don't do things necessarily the safest or the smartest way, most efficient, whatever. So I learned some bad habits trying to watch turners on YouTube that I thought knew what they were doing. Fortunately, I got a hold of Richard Graff, or at least the Turning Club's library's copy of Richard Graffin on turning. And so reading a little bit about the skew in his book helped me out quite a bit. And then lots and lots of practice. And then I think the first major, am I going the right way? Yes. Actually, I do know the first major, what's the word? Unusual thing that I turned with a skew was a sphere. And that was with Dick Gerard in his class, was spheres between, with wooden cups between centers and all that, and changing the axis several times. Start with a cube, turn it into a sphere, and I did it with a skew. Because at that time, I will say confidence will get you places. At that time, nobody told me I couldn't, and I didn't know any better. Not that that matters, because clearly I could. And so can anybody else. Okay, a little bit more. So I don't know how much of this is gonna survive. It's a little bit punky. That split's gone, but that one's not. So there's a little bit of a split there, but I'm not really concerned about that. This is just to show the difference, I suppose, between, and I'm taking a really long time to do this bowl. Difference between doing this with a skew, which was over an hour, and me taking my sweet ass time with this with a bowl gouge, which is much more efficient. give myself a little bit more light here. Double check the depth of this dude. Whoops, slipped my thumb off there. Okay, so that's my final depth. Working on cleaning up some tool marks here. There we go. So clearly a bowl gouge is much more efficient than a skew. I'll put that away, yeah, all right. Made it. All right. So fairly even wall thickness there. I don't feel like sanding the inside of that dude, so. And it's green, and this was just an exercise, right? So I think I'll just grab this dude. It'll be a nice bowl to hang around and see what happens as it dries. I'm pretty sure it's going to split. So let's do a little bit of negative ray scraping on that dude and call it good. Oh yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty. All right. Hopefully it survives. Let's take that out of the chuck. Yeah. Very nice. So it will probably split here. I suspect it will split right there. But for now, it's a cool little bowl. And as it dries, we'll see if it survives. I hope it does. Be a nice little change bowl or something like that. Just for fun. So basically, I mean, granted, we're looking at what 40 minutes now. I took a lot of time doing different things, but basically, well, I don't know. I'd say that's about right. 30 minutes for 30 to 40 minutes for a bowl with a bowl gouge. It's a lot more efficient. It's a lot cleaner. Well, I guess I can't say that either because you know, using sharp tools and the right you know, the ABCs and whatnot. I got a really clean surface from the skew turning a bowl. So yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I can do a bowl like in under 10 minutes. It's, you know, it won't be a finished. The wall thickness will be fairly even, but I can do it in under 10. If I'm like in a big hurry, just popping things out, like for, I don't know, maybe empty bowls project or something like that. I guess I could really whip them out, but I like to listen to what the wood says and just take my time and let the wood take its shape. So, you know, in essence, if I wasn't monkeying around with the jaws and all that, that'd be about a half an hour bowl. About a half an hour bowl. So less than, you know, less than half the time it took with a skew. Same size of bowl. The other half of the log, so same part on the tree, all pretty much the same. Even had some of the same larvae in it. So let's put that inside and let it start its drying process. See what that turns into. Set you over here. Let's see. Let's upend you a bit. Upend you a bit so it dries more evenly. Don't want to set the bowl on its foot to dry. I want to get air circulation around as much of it as possible. Okay, I'm going to turn off the microphone for just a quick second here while I... Okay, had to empty my snoot. TC Smo says, throw it in a bag of shavings. It might save it. Kyle likes it. All right, done. Done. Do it right now. Right now. That's cool. Grab that little dude. I got my paper bag right here. Turns out I've got shavings in my shop for some reason. For some reason, there's wood shavings in my shop. I'm not sure why. Ha 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 ha. So there's a handful of those. We'll put that in the middle. There we are. So we'll let that dry inside. Here you are, Kyle. This goes to you. After it's dry and all that, you know, we'll make sure it's dry first. All right. Groovy. So what time we got here? It is 10 o'clock. Man, I don't know. Let's see. I guess I could turn something else, huh? What do I have that I want to play with? Nice piece of Ipe, but, well, that crack's still. I got that, dude. I've got little pieces of timber over here off to the side. Interesting shapes I wanted to start with. Ooh. Hey. I forgot about this guy. So this is some maple. Will it survive? Or can I? Ooh, I think I can. I don't know. Now I got a wild hair. Let's bring these guys back. Actually, you know, well, no, I can't run the compressor right now. It doesn't want to run. But I can do another winged bowl, I think. Not bored of those yet. I could even do a hollow form in this guy if it will. Let's put these away. If I can swing it around. So the hollow form would be on that third. I think I put some, looks like I might have put some epoxy in the hole there, so there might be a little epoxy surprise part of the feature in that. What else I got hanging around here? All kinds of stuff. See, those are not dry yet. Thinkity think. I don't know. I didn't have a plan beyond the two. I thought honestly the skew, the bowl with the skew was going to take longer, but apparently I've practiced enough. That'd be interesting. You know what? I think I'll turn that into a bowl, a natural edge bowl. Let's see. Let's grab this guy. So, all right. Live center, drive center. Wiley, Smiley, Kylie, woohoo. Nice. Nice. All right, let's turn this dude into a natural edge bowl. Let's get this out of the way. Pick a spot, any spot. Heavy in the bottom. Yes, we must go for the balance point first. I'm really close, so I'm going to take it. Okay, now that I've got my points set, let's see. I really want this to be the other way around, which is going to be interesting. Let me round this off first, or flatten this out first. Let's see, where's my, there it is. Find my center hole. Since I'm not going to be, this is going to be the bowl part here. That's going to clear, that's going to clear. And that's where I will work. Is that flat enough? Almost. That'll work. So I'm going to take my chisel here and knock that off and then rebalance. But I think the fibers are crushed enough that I might actually have the center, the original center there, maybe. Looks like it. I think that's it. That may be it. Nope. Of course, I did take some weight off, so let's move this guy up some. Touching my excuse me, drive center. I don't think I need to move it that much to get it. Oops, that was too much to get it on its balance point here. I was right. All right, cool. Mark that, flip it around. So this will be where the foot's at. Make sure we're secure. Yes, we are. Let's see, that's not going to clear that, is it? So I need to do this for now. Okay, that clears, that clears, that clears, that clears. Move that chisel. Now that will clear, very good. And you know what? I'll give it a foot like so many people like to do, I guess. I'm not really fond of this particular style. Well, it's not my gig. Doesn't matter. I think it looks cool on some pieces. You know, on other pieces it doesn't quite look right to me. So we're going to give it a very narrow foot. At least as narrow as I can get away with this chuck. Alright, so I'm closing in on a good shape here. I'm going to tuck this area in a little bit more. There we go. And now this area in a little bit more. So we'll have a bowl that's wider than the tree it came from and a narrow foot. Okay, take a look at that curve. I need to tuck this in a little bit more. So it's, basically this is just a pull cut. It's just the way I'm holding it might look different to you. I don't know what happened there. Let's see. Ah, I had a split. Well, we're going to call that another part of the natural edge. I'm not going to remove that. So there was a split right there that we did not see. Rather, I did not see. The royal we, I suppose. So I'll do a little scraping. And then a little bit of shear scraping. Need to get way out there. I think I'm not happy with this part right here. There we go. See, I'm going to grab a handleless gouge here. So I can get closer in to shear scrape. The handle's not in the way. A little bit of cleanup scraping there now with shear scraping. See how that looks. Yeah, not bad, not bad. That'll sand out very fast. Okay, cool. I think I would like it to be fairly thin. And I'm going to add this detail to it. Give it a little bit of an OG right in this area. There we go. Round this over. It's a nice bead. And we'll go the other direction. Well, I'm going to start that one over. Nobody's immune. Does not take much to lose the focus that you've got, so it is important that you're paying attention when you're turning. One momentary lapse brought me here. Okay, so I just got to clean this up. That looks pretty good, except it's a little proud of the beaded foot. Woo, doggy! That scared me. My finger brushed right on the turning part of the live center, and it kind of startled me a little bit. That's good concave surface. I think we're pretty good there. So I just need to clean up right in here. Oh yeah. Alright, so now I'm going to grab my Grex sander really quick. We'll dust that up. After I move this out of the way. So when you're working with winged vessels, especially like this, right now I'm sanding half air and half wood. So you have to maintain a steady pressure against the wood so that you're not trying to push through the wood. Because if you're trying to push too hard through the wood when I'm out here, even though it's going super, super fast, there's a possibility that I can slip past this edge. So I want to maintain a constant pressure and a good rate of speed so that I'm not like straying into that negative space too much. That sanded out like fast. That's cool. But hey, man, sharp tools will get you there. So that's a little split that broke out. I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to sand it. Well, yeah, I will sand it. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it the way it is. We'll call that the natural edge there on the bottom. Had to make a slight adjustment, so carry that all the way out. There we go. Grab my saw. Formidable first time chat. Formidable catalog. Cheap viewers on Strava. Yes. Another stream bot. I wonder if I could talk to him at all and just mess with him. I think that might be fun. I don't know if it's real people. I think it's a bot. Somehow got past my moderator. Or maybe they didn't flag it right away. All right, there we go. So that's off. Put this little nubbin in the bucket of future resin pours. And now let's take these guys out. What time we got? 20 minutes into this. Not bad. And it just so happens I have the jaws that I need on this chuck now. Move the tailstock. It's all inside the jaws there. Yeah, let me talk about this. I should talk about this. All right, so I've got a foot that is 1/8 of an inch tall. And it's set for my dovetail jaws. This is a very hard piece of maple. Got a lot of curl in it too, which is awesome. But really, you don't need to have a huge tenon, and you don't want a tenon that's sitting down in the bottom of your jaws either. I have enough experience to know that this works for me. I've often had a 1/16 of an inch that I'm holding on to. You don't need to have a really monster tenon on this, on any of your pieces. Softer wood, you might need more of a tenon, but it doesn't need to be 3/8 of an inch or whatever. You don't want it to go down into the bottom of your chuck. You want everything to sit right on the face of the chuck so that it all stays true. Okay. I think we're all set there. All this is going to clear. Let's move the tailstock back some more. So this one I'm doing in stages because it's going to get really floppy out here on the ends when it gets thinner. Right now I'm at what, 3/8 of, well, not even 3/8 of an inch, just about. Yep. So I want it a little thinner than that. But I want to be careful to work it in stages because as it gets thinner and with the centrifugal forces, it's going to want to flap like a bird, right? So I want to do this first, move away from it, and keep working my way down to the bottom. Took a big cut there and brought it out of the chuck a little bit. There we go. So I think that's about thin enough. Let's even that up a little bit more. Okay, there we go. I can see my wall thickness is pretty even now. So now I need to start working on this wall thickness here. That's actually pretty even, so I can pick up. And then I'm going to take one more pass at this. Bumping into the tailstock here. All right, there we go. That's an even wall thickness. So I just need to pick up this cut. Starting to get a little bit floppy, but not terrible yet. Just as an aside, this maple smells really good. It's very, very sweet smelling. It's nice. Okay, yep. Actually, I want to get in a little bit closer here. Make sure all of this is going to clear. Whoops, that's not going to clear. No, it will. So I'm going to check that. Sections wall thickness. That's pretty even. I think that will let me, yeah, still very even, so I can pick up this cut. And I think I need to make this part a little bit thinner. There we go. I'm gonna take, did I put it away? I did not. Cool, now I don't have to sand that. I'll take it. Probably do. That much. Yeah, that cleaned that up really nicely. Normally I wouldn't do that because the wings are, the whole thing is very thin. But this is really hard maple and it's holding up all right. So I'm not going to complain about that. Let's see, does that clear? That clears. Let's take a look at that. There we go. Oh, very, very nice. All right, so just got to touch this up a little bit. Look at that little nubbin right there. Oh, got a little bit more to do. There we go. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. There we have it. Nice, fairly even thickness. You can see this is just a tad bit thicker because it was flexing. But in general, it is an even thickness all the way through, even to the foot. I just got to sand that off. And that's a really nice natural edge piece. There's that piece that broke off. Very cool, man. Nice. So my compressor is not running right now, so I will do that later. I will sand that off later. Hopefully it'll be. I don't think it's going to be much warmer tomorrow, but we do have some warmer temperatures coming. That'll be pretty groovy. So there we have it. And that took half an hour. I mean, so yeah, basically half an hour for a bowl. Half an hour, 40 minutes. Skew is much less efficient. Took over an hour, but I guess the whole point of the exercise is to show you that yes, it can be done. It's not something that's undoable or that you should not do. You just need to understand the ABCs, practice the ABCs, anchor, bevel, cut, and just keep after it. Just keep working to improve your skills. I do suggest finding a turner who you feel is better than you to take classes from. And any of the well-known turners, which I am working my way into hopefully being in that group of folks, well-known turners. Oh, look at that. We got the lens fogged over again. There we go. Getting my career going all right, I think, I hope. Anyway, I'm going to call it there. So that is nice, very thin, almost looks like a potato chip. Very, very nice thin bowl. Longer because this was the log, so it's longer than it was the tree was wide. But that's how you do that. You turn the whole thing, you make the blank longer, you turn it out further. I think that's kind of a neat thing to do sometimes. People go, well, you can't make a bowl bigger than, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. I love hearing that too. You can't do that. Yeah, you can. Or, I mean, that's got me, that's put me into some of the areas that I have explored and that I continue to explore because somebody says, oh, well, that's not shades of Rudy Lopez. Yeah, right. Absolutely. A really great teacher too. Nice guy. I'd love to hang out with him again. I'm hoping actually he's coming up here, right? He did say he was willing to come up here, so that would be fantastic. Or at least doing that, not an IRD, right? Like he's coming up here, so I can't wait to jaw jack with him again for a while. Hopefully he'll bring his wife too. She's a really lovely lady. May not. Got to meet her at Aramont, but yeah, shades of Rudy Lopez. You're right. You pick those things up when you take classes from recognized turners and all that. Aramont, John C. Campbell, Dale Nish School of Turning, I think it is. There's a couple of places out there where you can get hands-on direct, like week-long training. You can find somebody in your local area who, if you're in my area, give me a shout. Up here in Traverse City, give me a shout. I'd love to work with you sometime. Teaching turning is pretty fun for me. I really enjoy it. And watching the excitement of another turner is also really, really, really cool. Especially when they're new turners, man. That's just so awesome. When the light comes on, they get it, they start making the right cuts, and having the right the tool in the right orientation, all that, the ABCs, all that stuff. It's great. It's just a blast. So what I'm going to wind up doing is sanding this outer edge. I'm going to leave the shape there, but I'm going to sand that a little smoother, just because there is some. Like where this piece broke out, that's a very, very thin edge. So I'm just going to sand that just a little bit to soften that up. I'm not even holding it in the camera view. Let's try this camera view. So I'm just going to soften that up. And then just kind of slightly around the edges. I don't want to have any sharp edges on there, but that's not going to take very long with just a piece of sandpaper. I don't even need to hook up the air module for this guy to do that part. But to do this part, I will, because I don't want to sit here and sand or try to carve that away. We're talking about basically an eighth of an inch in thickness for this bowl. Here it's like 3/16 just on this wing, but in general it's an eighth of an inch. It's got to be a little careful with it, but it's pretty cool. It's got some curl in it. We'll see how it progresses over time. I'll be showing this bowl to you again in a future broadcast, not tomorrow, but in a future broadcast. Yeah. So anyway, having said all that, I'm just going to call it. It's 20 till 11. I don't want to jump into starting something else. I'm excited. Actually, I do, but I have an issue with starting something and then leaving it for a while. I hate doing that. Right? It bugs me because sometimes I lose my place if I walk away for too long. So when I start a project, especially on the lathe, and especially if I'm working with green wood, oh yeah, I don't want to walk away from it for too long, especially because green wood's going to start moving immediately. So you gotta turn that as quickly as you can. Depending on the species, apple moves dramatically. Apple is amazing stuff, but it moves dramatically and fast. I've had apple move on me while it was on the lathe. It was drying out because I had it so thin. But you just have to take that with what your project is and what you're doing. If you're working with seasoned wood, it's not such a big deal. This piece was seasoned. It's not green. That resin surprise never showed up. So I don't know. I think this piece has been laying around for a while, so I don't know if I had some idea for it in the past and then just kind of spaced it out and went with whatever. Did like a primary seal with resin. I probably used some resin from another project that it had some leftover in the mixing bowl and just poured it in there to try to seal that up. Anyway, it's turned out really, really nice. I'm happy with it. And I hope that you all have enjoyed this broadcast today. My name again is Dave. I'm a wood turner. I really get a kick out of turning it too. And I started this channel to become a better teacher and a better demonstrator. I started turning as therapy for PTSD. And I got to tell you, this is one of the better therapies I've ever worked with. You have to be you have to be focused in the right now, and that's that's a big deal with therapy, right? Not to live in the past, not to keep your focus of whatever problems you have. So I talk about using art and even turning as therapy a lot. It works for me. It works for other people too. I've talked to other veterans and stuff and other people even who aren't veterans who have found that it is great therapy for the things that they're going through. So, you could explore that too. Anyway, this was Twitch Tuesday. It's been a chilly Twitch Tuesday, but So far, every Twitch Tuesday has been very chilly this winter, right? I hope you stay friendly. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you tomorrow night or even next week, Tuesday or Wednesday, 8 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, folks. Thanks for joining me. See you later.